Shalom Akim, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, of honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Grimstone rule well, and the Akim throughout the four corners of the earth, preaching the words of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, preaching his gospel in sincerity and in truth, alright, in sincerity and in truth, right, to you I say Shalom. Yeah, so we're coming into that season where you have to take account of your blessings and your losses. All right, that's exactly what the man of the Lord is about. Okay, you have to account for what you need to gain and what you need to lose, and that's what the scripture, let us know: the new man and the old man, the spirit and the flesh. All right, so you have to understand what is required of us to be saved in these last days. So I'm going to read from the book of Matthew chapter 5. I'm going to read verse 29 and 30. All right. So it says, "And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee." All right. So that's not really talking about your sense organ. It's talking about things you cherish, things of this world that you hold so dearly to your heart. Like, it could be your job, it could be your car, it could be your house, it could be a certain lifestyle. All right. So it says, "For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and that none, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell." All right. So when you look at your bank account, you look at your properties and all that stuff, you look at your credit report. So it's just a profile of who you are, And when the banks run your credit, they have access to your financial records, And when you're doing your taxes, you're like, I had a good year, I had an okay year, and all that. Accountancy, all that. But comes a time when you have to realize that all the funds that you have in the bank account, your access to real estate, your business venture, and the revenues you're getting, that it's not going to be as important to you as they once were, because the Lord is calling, and by you answering, you understand what the priority is, you understand what is at stake, you understand that you as an Israelite, that the Most High has put you in a high position to be accountable. Just like the Lord Yahushua said, "To whom much is given, much is expected." That's exactly what it is, And then in verse 30, he says, "And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not thy whole body should be cast into hell." And that's also, also applied to, your business alliances, your business dealings with the people. When some people are being shady on the backside, and you're having business dealings with them, it puts you in a tough position, because when this, when the so-called agency starts to raid their property, they're gonna come look for you and see what's going on with you, because sometimes it's a pattern, that they won't even bother to look into your records. They're just gonna raid your property and seize your records, and then they're gonna start the investigation. They're not gonna investigate before they raid. You know how it is. They like that idea of shock and awe, and that's what Esau's world is like, man. Shock and awe, elements of surprise. So that's what it's like, man. You just have to be careful, of business transactions you conduct with people in the world, man, because you don't want to get tangled up in their madness. Because once you already see the red flag, you should always, start making arrangements. Start to wind down your transactions with those type of individuals, because you work so hard to have what you have, or to help others out. You shouldn't let someone, that's trying to cut corners mess you up. So you have to understand, man, you might have feelings for the person, might be your so-called brother in the world, your so-called family member, You just have to learn how to distance yourself, you know. That's one thing you have to learn in this truth. You have to learn how to make sound judgment. It's going to be cold. At the same time, it's going to hurt people's feelings. But at the end of the day, the Most High don't care about their feelings. The Most High cares about your well-being and that you're able to do the work, because you don't want to be tied down in court trying to prove your innocence, for months and months and months, and spending money on lawyers. Why you could have done that, a long time ago by just severing contact, with a certain, people, certain group of individuals or certain type of business. It's so easy. That's why the Lord Yahweh said, his yoke is easy and his burden is light. All right. So you have to understand what it means to serve the Lord. So I go straight to the book of Second Ezra. I'm going to read from chapter 14. All right. So verse 14 says, "Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature." All right. So you shouldn't be letting your feelings dictate how you operate your life, how you do the work of the Lord. And when the Lord has blessed you with the opportunity to run a business, run a department, or to take care of certain tasks on the plantation, you shouldn't let that position, be be interrupted with your feelings about other people. You should just stick to the narrow path, stick to the straight gate, stick to the path that leads through the straight gate. That's exactly how the Lord expects us, to trim the fat and just do what is necessary, because you can't overburden yourself, of how you feel. You should concern yourself about the mission and how to please Him that has chosen you. All right. So I'm moving to the next precept, because it's just simple principles you have to live. You have to live by, right? Because it's going to save you a lot of headache. It's going to save you from a lot of frustration. All right. It's going to minimize your level of frustration and arguments and all that. So Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9 verse 14, it tells you this: "For the thoughts of mortal men are miserable, and our devices are but uncertain." Okay, so you have to understand that the cares of this world is not really that important. You have to understand that you're waking up in the middle of the night to pay a bill, rushing to pay your phone bill, so before the grace period is over, to avoid late fees, and rushing to pay your rent before the 5th and all that. That's not life. That's misery. Okay, worrying about your interest rates, doubling and all that stuff, and liens on your property. The Lord is not pleased with that type of lifestyle. So that's why the Lord Yahushai, is on his way to deliver our people from this entanglement, man, this web of oppression. All right. And our devices are but uncertain. So whatever we plan in this place, man, that has to do with the job, the plantation. Always know at the end of the day it's gonna get burnt down, because the Lord is not gonna let businesses be operating here in Babylon, where He's more concerned about salvation of the whole nation of Israel, bringing judgment to the Edomites and the other nation, and especially 2/3. So the business is always going to take a back seat and go down the drain, while your salvation is more precious. Okay, so one more precept and that's it, because you have to understand it's really necessary you apply the concept of knowing what your blessings are and what you can do without. Okay, so Matthew chapter 13, I'm going to read verse 44. All right. So it says that again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in the field, okay, which is this wisdom. All right, anyone can read the words of the Holy Scriptures, but the wisdom is hid from them. The Most High has hid the wisdom of the Holy Scriptures from majority of the people upon the face of the earth. Only the elect are able to tap into it perfectly, you know. And you read book of Sirach, it tells you that wisdom is not going to enter into a malicious soul. All right. So it says, the which when a man had found, all right, who can find it? Only the elect, the man of the Lord. He hideth it, all right. Just like the word talks about the wise concealed knowledge. Okay, he hid it for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he had and buyeth the field. So he checks it out, he holds on to it, and then he starts to dump all the philosophies and other obstacles that's going to prevent him from getting that knowledge, you know. So he found a good investment and he understood what the value is. He read the contract, you know. He signed it and he's sticking with it. And that's how it is with the man of the Lord. You have to stick with the program. You know, when you know the Lord made you a good offer, something better than the plantation, what else are you going to do? You're going to start winding down your relationship with the plantation and get on the Most High's program, you know. So I read it again, Matthew chapter 13, verse 44. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in the field, the which when a man had found, he hid it, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he had and buyeth the field. So that's what we need to be focused on, man. Learn how to put things aside that are not really necessary so that we can obtain what the Lord has set before us. Alright, so that's just the point that I came. I hope you've been edified, and I pray the Lord Abashima Shai continues to brighten your mind so that way you don't get tied down with this plantation, you know, madness and all this trying to, you know, start a hustle and being engulfed in it, you know. So that's just the point that I came. I hope you've been edified, and I pray that the Lord will continue to brighten your minds to make, you know, better discernments. Shalom.